International Affairs Editor Robert Parsons. Rob, we've seen in the past week the Saudi-led coalition, it's actually UAE forces mostly there, halt their offensive on this strategic Red Sea port. And now this announcement from the Houthis, what's changing?
Well, it's a gradual change that's been taking place over the last few weeks. So I think there are two key factors. One of them is the feeling around the world that what's been going on now for 3 years in Yemen without much achieved by this military offensive is appalling. Something has to be done to stop the slaughter of innocents in Yemen and the growing risk of a famine of the sort that we haven't seen in the world for over 100 years, as the UN is putting it. I think that's one reason. The other reason is almost certainly the backlash from the murder of Saudi dissident Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi embassy in Istanbul on October the 2nd. The fury around the world that Saudi Arabia seems to have been under the illusion that it could get away with this with impunity, I think has fueled anger around the world. And that is what's putting the pressure. I think it's those two factors which are putting the pressure on the Saudis. There was pressure growing anyway because of the appalling civilian cost of the war in Yemen. But with the murder of Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi consulate, even key figures in the US administration who have been silent up until then, like Jim Mattis, the defense secretary, and also Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, putting pressure for a ceasefire and a peace agreement to be reached within a month, that has certainly made, I think, the Saudis, as the leader of this coalition, wake up.
Yeah, and we're talking about, again, peace talks of some kind taking place next month in Sweden.
Yes. I mean, look, people are crossing their fingers more than anything else at this stage. It's a good sign, obviously, that the Houthis have responded to the decision by the coalition to stop the fighting around Hodeidah by saying they won't fire rockets into Saudi Arabia or into the United Arab Emirates. That at the request of the United Nations. But there's still a long way to go. It's clear that within the Houthi organization, political structures, there's a lot of opposition to this ceasefire. Not everybody's agreed with it. Some of them feel that they're being conned by the Saudis to stop firing missiles. And we know that in September, when a ceasefire was reached, talks were meant to start. The Houthis didn't take part. They didn't even go to the talks because they felt that their security wasn't being guaranteed. This time round, I think there is a significant difference. First of all, the international pressure, but also the growing authority of the UN Special Envoy, Mike Griffiths, on both sides of the equation, and the work that he's been doing in between, and the guarantees that he says he's prepared to give to the Houthis for their security on the way to those talks in Sweden.
All right, many thanks for that, Robert Parsons.